Now, for more on today's sixth day of testimony at the Madlanga Commission, let's cross to Canny Maphanga. She, of course, is in Pretoria covering this for us. Canny, have I missed it? Who is the next person in the hot seat?
Well, good morning to you, Leanne. We don't quite know the identity yet of this new witness, but we do know that the witness will be going into the realm of the legislative framework that guides policing in South Africa. Now, we know from the testimony from two high-ranking SABC officials, that is KZN Top Cop, Lieutenant General Madlanga Commission, and the National Commissioner for SABC, that is General Canny Maphanga, that we've heard evidence with respect to the minister and how he allegedly committed overreach or encroached into the mandate of the SABC commissioner by issuing a directive to disband the PKTT, and then, of course, creating an environment allegedly of pressure to do so immediately. Essentially, what this new witness will have to assist the commission with is to flesh out this question of whether the minister had the legal authority to issue such a directive, and in the case that he did, how does he go about giving effect to the implementation of this directive without encroaching into the mandate of the SABC National Commissioner, and of course going into the direct operations of the South African Police Services, which according to legislation falls within the ambit of the National Commissioner of SABC, and we understand the minister being the policy head that creates, or rather comes up with a strategy for the policy, national policy of policing in the country. We expect for that particular witness to flesh out that distinction that is created so as to not have situations such as what we're hearing from this testimony, where you have alleged political interference or undue influence into the operations of the police, to the extent that it now stops key investigations into what is being described here as an alleged organized crime syndicate. But to flesh out this legal question further that will be focused on today, I'm joined by my colleague Ayanda, not too far from me, who is with retired Interpol Ambassador Andy Mashaile. Over to you, Ayanda.
Yeah, Canny, thanks very much indeed. And you're absolutely right. Hopefully what we'll hear on day 6 of this inquiry is a clearing up of any murky waters that still exist insofar as that decision you've alluded to, and insofar as also safeguarding the work of the SAPS from ultimately the erosion of the rule of law, which is the fundamental concern, I think, that's arisen over the past couple of days of hearings here. But you're right, Andy Mashaile is spending the morning with us. He wears many hats, joins us now as a security strategist. Good to see you again, sir. Thanks for your time. Help us, I suppose, place what South Africans should be looking out for as we anticipate to hear from this witness who's going to speak about that framework that guides the work of the SAPS, amid those questions about whether or not Senzo Mkhono did in fact follow the law in allegedly giving out the instructions that we're told he has, at least insofar as this commission is concerned.
Good morning to you. I'm Ayanda. Long story short, before any decision is made in this space, one would assume that the minister would consult with the national commissioner. An example in point, when we learned that General Maphanga issued out an instruction that 121 dockets must be handed back to Madlanga Commission, the acting police minister, we learned that he got upset, and subsequent to the to and fro between the two of them, they went into a room, held a discussion. A process of consultation was now unfolding between the acting Minister of Police, Ntate Firoz Kashalia, and General Maphanga, and they came out of that meeting speaking one voice, or in one voice. So this is one of those little data sets that one would superimpose on the question that you ask, that says, were they not supposed to talk between or amongst themselves, so that when that decision to disband the PKTT unfolds, it is a common decision between the policy shaper, in this case the minister, and the implementer of that policy, which happens to be the National Commissioner, as an operative. Remember, there's a difference between what the minister does and the National Commissioner does. When we draw that distinction, we find it easier to find solace in the fact that, yes, the minister was right in speaking to the National Commissioner, and the National Commissioner, for the want of a simple example, was not correct in refusing to take that instruction. But both of them would have sat in the same room, consulted, and say, this is the direction that we are going because of reason A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And we have learned over the course of time in the 6 days that that did not happen, meaning one issued out an instruction and the other did not actually want to, the National Commissioner did not actually want to execute that instruction of the minister because of reasons that we have learned that operations becomes the responsibility of the National Commissioner.
And it's not the first time that we've, I suppose, found ourselves in a context where there's questions about where that line of demarcation lies. And I suppose that will lead to questions around whether or not there is enough clarity insofar as, that framework is concerned. I mean, I wonder what's your take on something like that. Is the issue with the framework or is it with the interpretation of what it says?
My observation, the issue is with the interpretation, the laxity that comes as a result of the relationship between ministers and the director generals of the department. Sometimes Minister A would have a relationship with Director General A, in this instance the National Commissioner and the minister. So the minister might have, from whence he came, would have had a good relationship with the Director General and would bring that into this space of law enforcement to say, I can talk to the National Commissioner or this Director General, and things would happen.
All right, Andy Mashaile, thanks very much indeed, as always, for speaking to us. Really appreciate the insights. And of course, we'll be here throughout the course of the day to get you a sense of how things unfold. And Mashaile, of course, a security strategist.